accident. What are their processes? Well, for a claim handler, we're looking to see that you have coverage, that you paid your bills, or that you're a permissible driver. And then we're going to ask you, well, talk to me. Tell me what happened. Well, a lot of people tend to have an idea if they're at fault or not. So if I go around a parking lot and I hit a parked car, odds are I'm at fault. I know that. The first thing I'm going to tell my claim handler is they were parked illegally. Well, you still can't hit stuff. You just can't do that. So we're gonna ask probing questions. Okay, so this was a disputed lane change. Where were you? Where was the other person? How did it happen? Is there a police report? Do you have photos? Have you documented your claim? Are there witnesses? Are you injured? These are very important questions. And we're saying, well, it sounds like the other person may be at fault. Now, I personally, as a claim handler, just took care of the insured. But other claim handlers will say, well, it looks like the other person's at fault, so why don't you just call their insurance? I want to say, well, why don't you call them for me? And I want to say, well, because by law I can't make a first party claim for anyone else. So, provided that you have the other person's insurance information, you may call them. You go, hey, I was in an accident. They're going to ask you a number of the same questions, and they're going to say, well, I will open an investigation. And then you will say to me, I don't understand why you just don't pay me. What are you going to give me a rental car? For some reason, everybody's really keyed into the rental car. I don't understand why I can't have a rental car. Well, because I have to investigate the claim. I am allowed to do that. I need to talk to my driver. I need some time to investigate the claim. Are you injured? And you're going to say, yes, I've been injured badly. I'm like, okay. Well, then you need to seek the medical care that you need to seek. At this point, I can't, I'm not going to be able to pre-authorize any medical care. Claim handlers never pre-authorize medical care unless it's your insurance company and you have PIP or MedPay, and you would need to talk to a specialist in that area. But I'll be like, okay, you do what you need to do. You need to mitigate your damages. That means that you need to do whatever you need to do to mitigate the cost and damages to your vehicle until I complete my investigation. If your car is in storage, paid storage, you will need to remove it. And I will send you an email. The email will have all the information in writing about the next steps of the claim. More than likely, that's not going to be making you very happy. So, you have to understand that claims is a process. We just don't pay people because they tell us to. We have to have evidence. We have to look at the jurisdictions. We have to go on Google Map. A lot of times we'll map out the route and see what the signs are that you saw. A lot of times we'll do, we'll call witnesses if there are any. We may need to get the police report. That may take a couple weeks. So I will say to the claimant, at this point, you will need to go through your own insurance. And at that point, they go completely nuts. Because in their mind, they're like, but I'm not at fault. Well, I understand that. But I have to look at all these items to make sure that we're paying what is owed. And then the claimant will say to me, but you have to make me whole. No. Making people whole is a first party term. I pay what I owe because I'm the claimant. So let's say that there is persuasive evidence that we are at fault. There's another options. I might send out an appraiser, take a look at the vehicle. I might even get you a rental car. A lot of times, the car needs to be in a shop. The shop needs to have the parts ordered. They need to be ready to rock and roll. If it's in a storage facility, I may pay it, but not more than, that it's unreasonable that it takes me to complete my investigation. But that's if we're 100% at fault. So there are a lot of caveats, and I think that's why a lot of people get upset. They don't understand. To them, it's just simple. The other person's at fault, and that's the end of it. There's a lot of nuances that go on. There's a lot of jurisdictional issues, especially in Virginia, where it's 1% bars. So I'll be looking for that 1% that you're at fault for, which is quite easy to find. So there are a lot of issues. A lot of times claim handlers aren't trying to elongate the claim. It's always said that a closed claim is a happy claim. We're trying to get that claim closed, resolved as quickly as possible, get it out of our queue, get it off our inventory. Repeatedly calling us only makes the process go longer, because then we've got to deal with that. It's just a process. That's why I always recommend that people have low deductibles and high limits, so that if they do need to go through their insurance, it's not a big deal. My deductible is like $100 or $250. I have high limits. The reason being is because, claims are expensive. I might do something that I may not know, or I may be at fault, or I might just have a relapse, or I may have a lapse of driving well, and one thing leads to another. So that's why I always recommend having low deductible, high limits. Just go through your own insurance. A lot of people do. A lot of people get angry when it's suggested to them. Just keep in mind that claims is a process. That's why you have your own insurance. I always recommend having comprehensive as well as collision with U coverage. That's uninsured and underinsured insurance. I always recommend that. You just don't know what's going to happen out there. Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I'll see you on the next show. Bye.